Hey guys, it's Jake Mace, the vegan athlete. I'm gonna show you guys some amazing plants I'm gonna plant today, but it's Arizona in July. It's July 1st today, and it's so humid because the monsoon has begun, which is great for my gardening because my trees and my plants love that humidity, and it even rained 2 days ago for the first time in months. I was really excited about that. So in this video, we're gonna show you guys how to build a garden in raised beds, how I plant the soil, how I plant the plants, where I get the plants if you're in the Phoenix area. And there's gonna be a lot of sweat because it's so hot and humid out here today. So I need to have something to give me sustenance and some hydration. So I got here a young coconut that I did not grow, sadly, but I got it nonetheless. And here's how I open it. I take the knife, take the bottom part of the knife right here, this part, and I hit it 1, I hit it 2, and I hit it 3 times, and I try to pop it off in just 3 knocks. That was successful that time. Now I got all the coconut water on the inside. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this down for a second, and I'm going to grab this passion fruit, which I did grow. I'm gonna cut through this guy and show you guys what this looks like on the inside. It's gonna be really amazing. Ooh, it's juicy and so fragrant. It really smells amazing in there. And so then what I did, I take this guy, I pull the lid back on my coconut, and I just squeeze the passion fruit juice into the coconut directly. Because this is the vegan athlete channel. It's not a gardening channel. This was supposed to be a video about what I eat as a vegan guy. I've been vegan 15 years, and I'm only gardening because I want to grow my own food. I'm really into the eating of the food, and gardening is the best way I can get that food from my system. So you guys get a little bit of an insight into what I eat here as the intro of this video today. I'm gonna mulch this, and then I also have this amazing thing down here you guys can see called a dragon fruit. And on the inside it looks like that. I already took a bite out of it for my dragon fruit video I just did on camera for you guys as well. We're gonna take a scoop out of this dragon fruit just like that, and we're going to put this scoop into our young coconut. I gotta make some room. Down inside there. Ooh, nice. But now as you can see, I just had trouble drinking it. How am I gonna drink this thing? Well, I have an idea of how to drink this coconut today. So why don't you guys join me over here. All right, we're over here at the papaya forest. The mother is up top loaded with papayas, and the 2 babies are down below, as you can see right here. And I've got to prune off one of these leaves because it's too low, and I keep trying to prune the leaves up in order to give the tree more strength as it grows higher. So look at how that papaya leaf is hollow on the inside. That's pretty cool. So if I take this guy right here and just cut that, I have got an organic straw that I can spit some spit wads at from across the room, or drink my coconut. So let's go back to the coconut and drink it up. We got our straw, and now it's time to give ourselves some nourishment before this gardening session today begins. All right, you guys, for this video today, we have raised beds that we've already filled with soil before. They've been growing for a few years. I have a video right here if you want to see how I do a raised bed from scratch, including the soil. I have a video here to see how I plant plants from scratch, you know, all the way, and how they mature. So click on this one to see how we do the raised bed from scratch, including the plants, and this video to see how the plants look after about a season of growth. Today, we've got our raised beds filled and ready. The irrigation line is back on track, looking great. We've got worm castings, compost, coconut coir, and we've got plants that we're gonna bring in from Suzanne Vilardi with vilardigardens.com. And if you guys know me too well, you know that I like using the rock dust to try to remineralize the soil. The problem with a lot of compost or native soil, whatever else, you don't know if those minerals in the ground have been depleted. And so we're gonna use the azomite, which has 70 different minerals and trace elements in it, the rock dust, put it in our soil, and then the plants and the microbes will drink that up, and we'll eat food that's remineralized, healthier food than Whole Foods can ever carry. When I was first gardening, I had a hard time finding rock dust. I used to hear my man John Kohler talk about it, and I couldn't find it. I would go into nurseries and they would look at me like I was an idiot. And I'm like, I'm not an idiot. I've seen guys grow with rock dust and they seem to be pretty successful gardeners. So we started carrying little $10 bags at jakemace.com. If you guys want to get a 5-pound bag and try it out in your garden, try one part of your garden with rock dust minerals and one part without, go to jakemace.com and grab a $10 bag. And I usually do a cup about this size on a bed like this, and I sprinkle it in uniformly just like this. I think the Azomite company says they do about 1 pound of rock dust per 10 square feet of space in your garden, and John Kohler does a lot more than that. I just kind of eyeball it, and I do about that much, and make sure to get the edges. And don't breathe it. You might want to put some kind of mask on to guard your lungs. And that's about appropriate when I'm adding soil back to my raised beds. So I'm going to sprinkle this rock dust, the Azomite, on each of these raised beds that's prepped and ready. I'll meet you guys back here in 2 minutes. So yesterday, I went over to my friend Suzanne Vilardi's house and got some of the best plant starts in town. I mean, her pepper plants right here, these are all sweet peppers, look incredible. She has some of the Samurai Holy basil, as well as different kinds of basil and different kinds of cucumbers and melons, all things that will grow perfectly in this season right now if you're in the Phoenix area. Suzanne doesn't have a nursery, so you gotta go to vilardigardens.com and find out which farmer's market she's at on which day. Plus, if you go to a lot of the Summer Winds nurseries in town, Summer Winds Nursery carries a lot of Suzanne's plant starts. So I have this tray right here, a second tray there, another tray here, and part of this planting today, I'm gonna plant some of these caper plants that Suzanne's really into. She's part of the Low Desert Caper Facebook group. You check that out, the link's right here on the screen and in the description below. I'm gonna plant these capers in a separate video with you guys on camera so you guys can see the growth of these capers over the next year or 2 years. Pretty cool. Caper plants are hard to come by, and the people who are into them are really into them, so I'm going to plant them and see if I can get enthusiastic about capers as well. But today we have some cucumbers, some pumpkins, sweet peppers. We also have different varieties of basil that we're all gonna plant here in the garden, even though it's July 1st, because this is a great time of year to plant these hot weather tolerant plants. See these raised beds, how they're all open and ready to go? I'm not gonna plant out all of them right now. I'm only gonna plant out these 3 trays of plants. And the other raised beds will stay perfectly soiled, ready for the monsoon rains to hit them, so that while they're empty, those microbes will start living and creating their civilization beneath the soil. So I recommend, if you can't plant now, at least prep your beds now and let the rain do the work for you with worms and microbes and the other bugs that are in the soil, bringing life to it. End of August, first week of September, around that area. End of August, beginning of September. I'm gonna plant the rest of these raised beds out for my fall crops, including carrots and beets. And that way we have the fall crops starting at the end of the summer and growing all through the winter. And hopefully, if I'm good enough, I can keep a lot of these pepper plants alive over the winter time in Phoenix, and that way I'll get kind of a perennial pepper that'll live for multiple seasons. So without further ado, let's get started. Here's stage 1 of what I do to plant out a new raised bed when you already have plant starts like the ones I got here from Vilardi Gardens. Stage 1, you gotta be out with your beds. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, meditate. Visualize which bed should have which plants are calling to you in the other realm, and are they telling you to go into which bed? Because each of these raised beds has a different and separate microclimate. This raised bed right here gets a lot of sun, it's very hot, and so I've decided to put the sweet peppers in here. Plus, last season I had beets growing in here. My man Justin with Agroscaping talks about root fruit being green. You want to have a root plant, then a fruit plant, then a bean plant, and then a green plant. So I had roots in here last season. So I'm gonna put my fruit this season, which is the pepper. This raised bed right here gets a good mix of sun and shade because this mesquite tree right here diffuses the light from the sun. You guys can see the sun right now, and it gets a nice little diffused light. So anything that grows in this raised bed always does very, very well. And these beds over here are also very hot. That's why we already have pepper plants in them that have been growing for a few months. So these pepper plants are a few months old, and they're surviving through the 121-degree heat of Phoenix pretty well. And they're very close together because I have really nutritious soil. I think with pepper plants, you can get away with putting 1 pepper plant per every square foot of space. With tomato plants, I tend to go 1 tomato plant every 2 square feet, like these guys over here that are tomatoes that I'm trying to see if I can get them to live through the Phoenix summer, which is tough to do. But the pepper plants do just great, and look at these peppers. They're producing, and I'll wait until these guys get fully ripe and turn red or orange, depending on what variety they are. Plus, my wife loves the sweet peppers, and I've done some research that sweet peppers have been known to have more nutrient density than tomatoes. So I'd say for Phoenix area gardeners especially, growing sweet pepper plants is probably superior to growing tomatoes, but why not grow both? All right guys, if you haven't already noticed, this is a very sweaty, exhausting video to make for you guys today. I hope you guys appreciate these videos. Hit the like button and subscribe to my channel because it is muggy and hot out here today. But I'm getting some stuff done. It'll be worth it when I'm eating the food. Okay, so look at this. We got the cucumber plants along the edge of this raised bed. And let me just make one disclaimer. This raised bed right here is 6 foot by 6 foot, which is not what I recommend. I recommend only going 4 feet on one side. So this should be a 6 by 4. You can go as long as you want. Your raised bed can be 1,000,000 feet long, but only make it 4 foot or less wide, because stupid vegan athlete Jake Mace, before he was really into gardening, made this bed, and I just made it too wide. It's hard to get into the middle. Humans can't reach that far, especially when the plants are big. It's really hard to harvest, do the irrigation, and amend it. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm pretty athletic, so make them smaller, but it's what I got, and I'm gonna use it. So the cucumbers are on the outside, and these plants, these cucumbers are a really cool variety that I've never planted before. It's called a Metki dark cucumber. So all of these cucumbers are Metki dark. And that's, I guess, a variety of the Armenian cucumbers that take the heat really well, that have a really cool pattern on the outside. So I'm gonna plant these Metki dark cucumbers on my trellis. And over here, these are the ones I'm really excited about. My favorite sweet pepper that Suzanne grows now, called the sweet chocolate bell pepper. When they're ripe, they turn from green to dark chocolate, brown, purple. They're so amazing. So I really recommend growing these guys from Suzanne. And over here, we've got this bed full of the basil. My wife wanted the basil to be really accessible. So since this raised bed is very accessible from all sides, we're gonna put the basil in here. And this basil is called cinnamon basil. This basil here is called the holy basil. This one is also another cinnamon. This one is the Mrs. Burns lemon, and let me tell you guys, I planted this one in the past, and this one smells incredible. When lemons are not in season, oh, it's already good. It smells just like lemons. It's really awesome. So we have one lemon here. This one's another cinnamon. Another, this one's called a Napolitano basil, Napolitano. And in the middle here, we have the white bush scallop squash. I love planting scallop squash, and normally I plant my zucchinis and scallop squashes from seed. But Suzanne had these and I had to plant them. So I know for a fact that these guys become a huge bush and produce really abundantly. And so I don't have to have the whole raised bed chock-a-block full of stuff busting at the seams, you know? I have a lot of raised beds here, a lot of food to grow. So I'm gonna just take this guy, I'm gonna divide these two plants in half and grow one here and let them have lots of space to bush out and fruit a lot. And then over in this raised bed, I'm gonna put the caper plants in here, and yes, I'm part of the Low Desert Caper group on Facebook. Suzanne Vilardi is really into capers, and they're such a cute little plant. These capers are so cute and so amazing, and Suzanne told me how hard these are to come by. So she's got caper plants right now for just $5. So go to vilardigardens.com and check her out. Find out where she's got these capers, because it'd be a great addition to your garden. You're supposed to plant these caper plants in a lot of native soil. They're supposed to like harsh climates, kind of like a grape does. But I'm going to try an experiment. I know you guys are gonna make fun of me, but I'm gonna try an experiment, put them in my raised bed in full sun and see how they do in about 6 months, and I'll keep doing updates. So subscribe to my Vegan Athlete channel for updates on how the capers do. I'm gonna do a separate video in a second just on capers. Over here, my wife doesn't like spicy food. Her family is French, okay? My family is Asian. No, just kidding, it's not Asian. But I've been in the martial arts since I was 8 years old, and I've been surrounded by a lot of Chinese influence in my life. I even lived in China for a while, and I joke, but it's real. A lot of the time, I learned a lot of my Kung Fu and Tai Chi skills because I was able to handle the hot Chinese spicy food with my teachers, and thus I got to go with them a lot and hear the stories and the legends and the history and the culture of the martial arts that we were studying. So I love spicy peppers, she loves sweet peppers. So I got this one called a chocolate habanero pepper. So I'm gonna plant my spicy ones over here in their segregated area, okay? And over here we have more of the sweet peppers. I love laying them out like this first. So all of these peppers are a combination of Anaheim peppers. Another variety here, I forgot the name, but Suzanne Vilardi said they're really good about turning really dark red. And we also have more of the chocolate pepper. So these are all pretty sweet except for the Anaheims, which the Anaheim are kind of medium. So if my wife Pam is watching this video in a couple of months from now when these guys are ready, make sure that in this part right here you test the pepper first, because I wasn't sure which one was which. All right, this video is not as in detail as others. Again, hit this video for a really detailed video of how I build the raised bed from scratch, fill the soil and plant the plants. This video is great for just topping off the soil after it's already established. For now, I'm gonna just plant these plants out right now. Meet you guys back here in 10 minutes and show you guys how they look when they're in the ground. I'll see you back in a few. When the plants have a lot of roots like this, a lot of times I kind of rough up the outside just to kind of break up the roots to encourage them to grow out into the new soil. So that's what I do. With this scallop squash, what I do is to divide it out, I put it over here to the side. One thing I want to mention to you guys, if you guys are buying plants from Suzanne Vilardi, she's a local person here in the Phoenix area, save these pots and also save these trays and bring them back to Suzanne. She'll be very appreciative because that will keep her costs down. It's good for the planet, and hopefully she'll pass those savings along to us. So save those trays, save those pots, bring them back to Miss Vilardi, and you'll be on her good list. I dig the holes first for these two squashes because I don't want to stress them out. I found out the secret to dividing plants successfully is to already have the hole pre-done and to have water nearby, so as soon as you put them in the ground and divide them, you water them right away, and that tends to eliminate the shock. So check it out. These guys are pretty mature. They've got a lot of roots there, but I'm gonna try to just carefully divide them out. Listen to the sound. And gentle as you can. If you can get a lot of them that don't break, that should be pretty good. So immediately I put this in the ground. I don't bury the stem too far, so kind of get them to ground level, just about like that far down. And this one the same thing. And then I'm gonna water this before I do the other guys. I'm gonna go right now and get my watering can and water these guys in immediately. And that way they won't go into shock and they'll totally make it and they'll thrive. And now from one plant, I got two, and this is not just my suggestion. Suzanne also suggests to do this because it will make the plant healthier because the roots will have more room to breathe and absorb in nutrients. All right, I'm officially now in what I call redneck gardening mode. I'm literally composting myself. I'm turning into compost. I've been out here too long. It's so hot and muggy, but I'm surviving. A lot of these plants couldn't take it. I started transplanting them into their spot and they were wilting because it was so hot, so I had to water a few of them as I went. Let me show you guys the pepper bed right now. This is the peppers, Anaheim, some red peppers, maybe some Marconi red, shishito, things like that. Things that Suzanne carries that she loves. And now it's been planted out. So I even have the drip irrigation here. It's a 1/4 inch line with an emitter every 6 inches. Okay, I get this from Sprinkler World. If you're here in the Phoenix area, the one on Country Club, I go there. Tell them Jake Mace sent you. And all the azomite now, you can see how it either soaks in or it gets to be like almost like part of the earth, you know? So that will absorb in when I water it. And now I water these guys with the hose right away first. After the initial watering, my irrigation system will turn on tomorrow and the next day and take over. But whenever I plant new plants, new plant starts, I always use the hose on them first because I figure that floods them and really makes them take to the soil from the get-go, you know what I mean? As I'm watering these guys, I try to also, close my eyes and connect with the plants. When I'm connecting with them, I try to visualize when does this water go about, 6 to 10 inches below the soil. And as soon as I feel like I flooded 6 to 10 inches below the soil, then that's good. And it's about 4 o'clock right now, p.m. I love planting out a new garden bed at about 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening because my idea is that the sun is going down and the plants will have overnight while the moon is out to relax and kind of tuck themselves in to the new bed, and then in the morning time they'll be ready to go for their first full official day. So I just feel like it's a good thing to do. And when I first began planting seed starts like this, I would plant out of bed and a lot of them would wilt. I really sucked in the beginning. There was no video of me sucking it up because I didn't have the camera on at that time. And now when I water them right away, when I plant in the worm castings, compost, coconut coir, and azomite ructus mineral blend, everything works out great and grows really nicely. So these plants, these guys right here, were smaller than these guys about a month or two ago. Now look at the size of them. They're ready to start producing all summer and fall. Let me finish watering these guys. I'm gonna water these guys in this bed. I'm gonna water these guys, the basils and the scallop squash in this bed. I got the cucumbers back here in this bed that I divided out, and I got 2 plants out of 1 package, which is pretty cool. I got these chocolate habaneros over here in this bed. See how the azomite just kind of soaks in? It's kind of cool, right? I like it. I feel like I'm starting the Mother Nature process of building healthy soil. And then I want you guys to click on the screen right now to see the video where I'm gonna plant these capers on camera. Very short and sweet video. I'm gonna have a link down below to this video as well if you can't see the pop-up. Go to the video, watch me plant the capers and what I'm gonna say about them and the reason why I'm planting them here. And then go to Facebook and join the Low Desert Caper group on Facebook, which I'll have a link for down below as well. You guys, this concludes this video. Let me show you guys back over here. I got the sweet chocolate peppers over here planted. And then I've got the cucumbers along the trellis inside here. So I'm ready for a great second half of the summer and into the fall, baby. And if you guys subscribe right now, I will have updates for you. So hit that subscribe button, and every month or so I'll come to you guys with an update, and you guys will see how these plants progress, and you will also see the fruit when it starts coming off these plants. Thanks for watching, guys. Go vegan, grow your food at home, and join my Urban Gardening in Arizona Facebook group. And I'll see you guys back here for the next video. Doesn't this newly planted raised bed look sexy? I think so. Little bonus for you guys. Make sure you guys clean up your mess so that your husband or wife is happy with you, and then bring these pots back to Suzanne Vilardi.